Yes, people, we're back. It's the Arsenal Roundabout. Football's 12th man is back tonight on a Friday evening. Looking forward to the weekend, well, as best as we can do. Things at the Arsenal ain't great at the moment. Confidence is low, poor results, and it just feels very deflating. Arsenal in April, you could write a book on it, man, every single season. Doesn't seem to matter what manager or what team we put out. Arsenal in April is dreadful. However, we're going to try and remain as positive as we can going into tomorrow's night's game, which is a mad time to play. But obviously 7:30 is the kickoff. We're going to be going into the game at Wolves at Molineux and start talking about what we think we're going to be doing into the returns of the team news. We're going to talk a little bit and later on in the show about some of the links. Funnily enough, Arsenal lose a game and everyone's coming to Arsenal. We're going to be spending loads of money. The Cronkies are going to give a war chest again. Yeah, I've heard all this before. If we would have won that game, that report probably would never have come out. But this is how it works. A bit of a different panel tonight. Shaking it up a bit, should I say? Big up to Jez. Jez, been a while, man. How are you, bruv?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Thank you for inviting me on. Nice to be on a channel of new people, these guys, and yourself, of course. Yeah, disappointed, mate. I am deflated. After the weekend and then losing, to Bayern Munich, it's very frustrating. I actually said the other night, stupidly, that we'd win 2-0 at Bayern Munich. I honestly thought we'd pull it out. I did. I really did. But it was basically not good enough. We got outclassed by, I don't think, a great Bayern Munich team, to be fair. I just think they were more experienced, mentally stronger. Arteta's tactics probably weren't as good as Thomas Tuchel. And I think that cost us in the end. And I have to say, I think, why did you bring on Nketiah with 4 minutes to go? What is he going to bring to the party?
Incredible, isn't it? Incredible, mate.
And look, if you throw him a tennis ball, he'll run around like a spaniel. Sorry, man, you ain't good enough for the club, and you need to go in the summer. Seriously. So disappointing, really disappointing. And it is. We move on. Wolves tomorrow, 7:30. Good luck to all the away fans going up there at 7:30 on a Saturday night. Respect. But we go again, guys. We go again.
We do. We move. Listen, we've got Sard with us. We've got Elliot with us. We've got Albert with us. We've got Gunnar King with us. We're going to shout all things Arsenal. And well, I want to touch on it too much because I've kind of done it to death now on every single stream and panel that we've been to. But I want to ask the question everyone's now asking. There's two questions, actually. One's about one of our players. One's about our manager. Let's start with Bukayo Saka because everyone's talking about Bukayo Saka. I must say, I kind of feel like a lot of it is deserved in terms of some of his individual performances, but I actually put a lot of the blame down to our manager because he is literally flogging this guy and he's so in need of a rest. It's crazy. And he never comes off. So the in-game management from Mikel Arteta needs questioning yet again, in my opinion, because when you're looking at a player that is like Bukayo Saka, all the talent in the world, yes, overhyped by some section of our fan base, saying he's the best in the world, world class, he's going to be Messi and Ronaldo levels. We get that in our fan base. They get that in every fan base. But he is a talented boy. There's no doubt about it. Let me start with you, Albert. Bukayo Saka needs a rest, in my opinion. Some say dropped, some say rested. I don't care what you want to call it. He can't start for me against Wolves, right? But this manager don't seem to trust anybody else on that right-hand side. We've brought Reece Nelson into the mix for 100K a week. We bought Fabio Vieira for 35 million and whatever we've put him on a week. And we've not seen anybody other than maybe Jesus for a few minutes come on that right-hand side. I want to ask you two questions, Albert. Would you rest him at the weekend is my first question. And my second question is, why has Mikel Arteta kept this guy on and used every other player apart from another right winger? What I mean by that is Martinelli always comes off. Trossard and Martinelli switch. Trossard and Martinelli switch. Nothing with Saka. The guy is ruining him, in my opinion. And he's 22 years old, and we're not going to see him past 26 if this carries on, Albert.
Yeah, let me sort of answer it in reverse of what you kind of the questions you asked me. So you guys would have seen it maybe or not. The tweet from Sam Dean yesterday, the Telegraph, in terms of Arteta's rotation of the players. So that answers one of your questions straight away, Dan, because you look at the minutes in terms of guys that have featured and not featured, and it's quite plain and simple. He doesn't trust them. But then the question is going to be asked, well, you kept them at the club, so why are you not playing them? Particularly when you get to the crunch time and the business end of the season. I said to you before, this is the crunch time of the season. It's not squeaky bum time yet, but it could possibly still get there, but it's not in our hands. So, but coming on to Saka, the interesting thing with him is, if you go back to Arteta's first season, he actually took him out of the team. He actually took him out of the team, out of the firing line, and didn't play him for a fair few games. That's when he first came into the club, by the way, Arteta. So, as good as he is, as talented as he is, as good as his numbers are at the moment, I've never been a manager. I don't aim to be, by the way, Potsy. Put it out there. Any takers, but you've got to manage that situation. You've got your coaching set up there. You have dialogue. You know, any game, Champions League, Cup games, league games, you've got to bring the guy off. Dan, I've lost count of the amount of times I've watched this guy sitting in the stadium, watching him, thinking he's done. Nothing against his talent. He just, even a side note, but Dan, Declan Rice, right? Last two games, I'm just talking about myself specifically, no other Arsenal fan, physically looked done. Honestly, that Villa game, I couldn't believe what I was saying. I said, look, he's struggling here. And with Saka, he gets kicked to death week in, week out. We know about that. But it's like you said, when that stat came up earlier in the season that he's featured in a consecutive amount of games in the Premier League in an Arsenal shirt, I can't say I'm going to sit there and was clapping my hands with joy, because I'm thinking that's great in terms of consistency and breaking records, to me, not in a good way, because as you mentioned, he's only 22. And there's got to be times he shouldn't be spearheading. As good as he is, he should not be the focal point and spearheading this football club trying to get back to where we want to be. It shouldn't happen. There should be 3 or 4 protagonists in this side to offload the workload. So yeah, to sum it up, done like it's a mixture of the rotation and Arteta not trusting players, particularly in the positions that where Saka could come off. We can talk about equality issues, which I'm sure you'll bring up, probably in the stream or another 10,000 streams you're going to do. But I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't start him on the weekend. I can't see what. I get it. We're in the business end of the season, but you can't have too many players starting in your first 11 that are off it, and there's too many of them at Arsenal at the moment, which is the case and has been highlighted in our last 2 games, especially.
Yeah, facts, Albert. Listen, Gunner King, let me come to you, bro. Saka and Martinelli this season haven't quite looked the same. These are young kids that have played a lot of football. Now, they should not be as tired as they are with 21 days off in January, which they got in Dubai, right? Or however long it was until we played City, right? But they're shattered, which to me means I don't think they've been managed too well by Mikel Arteta. Now, Martinelli's not really had the same because he does get rested and sometimes he's had injuries this season. But he's another player that I'm a little bit not worried about, but I've kind of been disappointed with, let's say, right? But I just kind of believe that there needs to be more rotation. And there was a worrying stat that I found yesterday or the day before now that said that Arsenal are basically starting the same players too many times. And the players that we're starting means my biggest concern at the start of this season was I didn't feel we had adequate cover in midfield, on the wing for Saka and up top. And I still stand by that. And it's been proven. On top of that, we've had Saliba and Gabriel start 40 games for Arsenal. Ødegaard and Rice start 40 games for Arsenal. Saka and Havertz start 40 games for Arsenal. Too many players, man. Man City have had none of them start that many games, right? Which is because they've got a big squad. Now, people said to me, the squad is all right now. We've bought players in. But it's proven to me that Mikel Arteta doesn't trust this squad because he's not using them. So Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira having less minutes than Aaron Ramsdale this season is a huge concern, Gunner King, man.
Totally agree. And I think to be clear, Saka broke Bergkamp's record of consecutive appearances. I think it was 84 or 85 consecutive appearances. Bergkamp made that consecutive number of appearances as a fully developed man. You know, Saka did it from age 18. So if you think, like in the terms of like the cycle of a man's development, the last bit of puberty is what they go through, like between like 18 to 22, 23. So if your body's still developing at that age and you're getting niggling injuries, that's when they become chronic. So if you look at someone like Owen, Rooney, Hazard, how much shorter their careers were, because they were overplayed when they were younger, essentially. And what happened was they picked up key injuries in this age bracket. And basically that made recovering more difficult and made them more susceptible to having the same sort of niggling problem in the same area. Wilshire's another example. And Arteta's played with Wilshere. So he saw it, in training. So you would think, like this is something you would have to have observed. A 22-year-old can't do this. You got to factor in as well, 2 major international tournaments were sandwiched in between those number of appearances. He's got it was nearly 90 before he broke it, something like that. So you got to understand, the first World Cup, the first Euros he goes through what he goes through as well. And then, the World Cup as well, he started nearly all of the games. And you've got to consider it's not so even just the physical fatigue, it's the mental fatigue. Like Saka being like the talisman of this club. It's like we put all of our hopes on it. Mentally, that is draining. For a 22-year-old to be doing that, like it's exactly like what Albert said. You need to have other protagonists that kind of can take that mental burden and break that load up and spread it throughout the team. Like I think Odegaard's on his way there, Rice, Saliba, but if you're overplaying these players and they're not playing to their best, it's going to affect their confidence, and their ability to like actually deliver, and that's what it comes down to. You look at Foden, how well he's been managed. He's gradually been made to play more games. The run that Foden's on now is the longest run that he's been on with consecutive starts himself. He's 24. So you got to really manage these young players like carefully, otherwise you're just going to shorten their career. And even when you are playing them, because they're burnt out, they're not going to perform to the best of their ability. So it makes no sense.
No, listen, I'm with you, bro, 100%. And Jez, I've got to say this, and people might not like to hear it, but I kind of hate saying the things and they keep coming right. I really want to be proved wrong so badly, man, so badly. But I really said that this bench we were gonna see like how good Arteta was in terms of his squad rotation, and he ain't really doing it. He's playing the same team and they're getting tired. And in April, at the most important part of the season, we're knackered. Now, a lot of people were saying to me, Jez, September, October, November time, when I said, I don't really think we're the same Arsenal we're not that fluid. Everyone was saying to me, it's cool. He knows what he's doing. It's so we don't burn out in April. We'll blitz everyone, March, April, May, and we'll win the league. Well, that's not happening. We were blitzing teams, don't get me wrong, right? In March, we were flying, February and March. That's now kind of done and dusted. So I need to see us blitzing teams again, Jez, and I'm worried. I don't think he's really managed this very well at the moment, Mikel Arteta, Jez.
I totally agree with you. I did question this just before Christmas. I was on a channel with Lee and Kenny, and I said, this is going to cost us because Saka back then looked to me that he wasn't on 100%. And when I saw him the other night, when he came on, like he was limping. Now, this is what annoys me with Mikel Arteta, is his arrogance. That he will continue to play players when you clearly got to say, mate, you got to rest. You've got to rest up. I mean, I had a debate about this a couple of 3 weeks ago about what happened with Jurriën Timber. And I got told, these medical staff, they know when it's an ACL injury. And I said, well, how do you know that without doing a scan? How do you know? But, that's a different subject. The thing is, he doesn't trust his bench, Dan.
Yeah.
That is the problem. He doesn't trust them, right? You've got back from injury, Thomas Partey. He could have made a major difference the other night, in my opinion. But the thing is, I just don't think he has the experience to manage a club of this significance. That is my concern. And I know people hate me for saying it, and I respect your comments, fair play. But the fact is, it's my opinion, and if you don't agree, you don't agree. Okay. But you know, you're not playing people like Smith Rowe, right? Where you could have done, or Reece Nelson. Saka to me is burnt out, and he's. You know, I'm sorry, we saw it this time last year, exactly the same period of football. Yeah, he went downhill, downhill, and you know, we're seeing it again. The guy's done for me, and I wouldn't play him at the weekend because we've got a big game. You know, I wouldn't play him because I just don't think he's the levels at the moment. And that could cost us because you can't keep pushing, you know, people to the end of their limit because at the end of the day, they'll break. He's a young kid, right? He's a young guy. I don't want to see him end his career early because he's been absolutely abused physically. Because we know in every football match, he gets crap kicked out of him. We saw it against Bayern Munich. How long can you put up with that? But to answer your question, mate, is Arteta, in my belief, doesn't trust his bench. And whose fault is that? His fault. Because he didn't strengthen the bench. Right? We all calling for it. A lot of people saying we need to strengthen the bench. We need this, we need that. Right? We didn't do it. And we've got players on that bench which are just not the levels of this football club anymore. Yet you give a new contract, right, to players that really shouldn't be in the club. And that's what I question. That is my big question with Mikel Arteta. And the other night, you could have changed it up. I said it earlier. Why did you bring on Eddie Nketiah? 2-0 down. What do you think he's going to do, man? Score a hat-trick? It's not Sheffield United. You know, and I'm sorry, you know, Mikel Arteta, you've done your best, right? You have done your best, and I respect you for it. But you're not the levels. You've proved it. Are we going to win the Premier League? I doubt it. I don't think we will, guys. Liverpool almost handed it to us on a plate last week. It was like, there you go, serve it up for you. And what did we do? Lose to Aston Villa. And tomorrow night is going to be a tricky game. Will he have changed it up, Dan? Will he have changed the squad tomorrow? I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
We're going to find out, man. That's something we're definitely going to find out. Saad, let me bring this up, man, because I think this is a fair question, bruv, right? Teta's muse has said, is it arrogance or stubbornness, or is he just naive and he hasn't learnt yet? Now, what I would answer that for me personally is that he's actually bought these players and he's kept these players, and we've got them all fit at the moment other than Timber, and he still don't trust them. So I don't really know how to answer this question. Is it arrogance, stubbornness for him, or is he just naive still and he's still learning, bro? What's your thoughts?
The thing is with Arteta, he has moments where he shows both of those things. At times he's very arrogant and goes out and puts. If we just look back to last season, FA Cup, Pep goes there with a serious team. He goes there with a team that's lessened. Yeah, I think six starting players were missing. Even this season, there's certain games where you did not need to go that. You did not need to go that low in regards to taking off as many starters. I fully understand that you're trying to rotate, but at the time, the Brentford game in the FA Cup, I think it was the FA Cup or the League Cup, that we played, managed to get through there and actually get there by a header in the last minute, I believe, from Havertz. But there's sometimes he just shows too much arrogance. Also, the naivety. He is a young manager. He's very naive, and for me, listen, I'm not Arteta or anything like that, but I need him to learn quickly now, because there's one thing, you're building your team, and I gave him the time because I was like, you know what, you're gonna build your team. I'm gonna let you build your team. Get rid of the players, keep whatever players you want, whatever players fit your system, and then do your thing. Yeah. Now that you've gotten us to this position, this is not the position where you can sit here and take time to learn. If you're in title races and you're in Champions League knockout stages, you need to learn very quickly. So his naivety, he needs to start learning very quickly. For me, I just think right now this is a bit of naivety in himself. By playing Saka this long for this many games, I'm really scared for what's going to happen to him later on in his career, because I really see. I don't think a Hazard situation, because I think Hazard didn't really take. He wasn't dedicated to taking care of his body, which I think Saka is a bit more. But we could still see him finish his career at like 29, 30, 31. It really could be bad, because it could be because he's played with injuries. Because like Gunnar King said, like, you get at this time his body was growing. So how many of these injuries, how many of these ankle problems, these Achilles problems, we knew that he had an Achilles problem. Is that going to be a continuous problem where he might have to have surgery? And yeah, I can't lie, man. Arteta right now with the whole Saka situation, playing. I think the Aston Villa game pissed me off the most.
Mm.
I don't know in what mind. Where do you have to be mentally to go back to Havertz in the middle? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You finally find a position where Havertz is good. Havertz is on form. He's doing very well. All of a sudden, you change it for what reason? And that is where the arrogance comes out. That is where the arrogance comes out this season, because he thinks he can just go into any game, do whatever he wants. The team's playing well. They'll follow whatever it is and they'll win. Now, fair enough. First half, yeah, we made chances. We created chances. We didn't get them over the line. The second half was embarrassing. How do you lose control like that? It doesn't make sense to me. And he really needs to start learning quick. He needs to relax and take every game seriously. Play the system that's working. If the system that's been working is not working and the players are not working in the positions, you have to be reacting quickly. I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about the Bayern game in detail, or am I good to go?
Go on, keep going. Go on, go.
The Bayern game, it looked like to me that Thomas Tuchel would just wait. If I know, I'm a fan. I'm sitting here in my house, relaxing in my bedroom, and I'm watching the game. I know at 65th minute, right, Trossard and Jesus are coming on. I see them getting up, taking the bibs off. I'm like, wow, how did I know that? Because it's happened the last 5 games. If I know that, Thomas Tuchel's just sitting there like, okay, where's Jesus? Oh, they're coming back from the warm-up. Yeah. Oh, they're getting ready. Okay, they're coming on. I knew that already. It's so
Yeah, it's
predictable.
facts, man. It's facts.
It's so predictable. I think, listen, Arteta, I love the guy, man. I think he's created a very good system. I think he's gotten a lot out of these players and taken them to a level. But this is the time where you have to earn your bread. You're getting paid a lot of money. This is the time where you earn it in the Champions League, in these title races, because it's all good getting to the title race, but that's not where Alex Ferguson won his money or earned his money. That's not where Arsene Wenger, that's not where Pep earns his money. That's not where Klopp earned his money. It's about what you do within that title race in the last 10 games. In the last 10 games, that's the most important part of the title race, because that is where you could win it or lose it within even just a draw. Getting a draw and you're done. You could the other team goes in front of you, they might not lose a game. So I listen, Arteta right now, I still have belief in him. I listen, I think there's 6 games to go. It's going to be very difficult, but yeah, I think he's shown arrogance and naivety in this season, and it really needs to move a bit quicker for me. I need him to learn a bit more quicker. I know it's harsh, but listen, you have to in this position, title races and Champions Leagues. Like I said, that's what just has to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's the top level now. It's elite sport.
Agree. No, listen, you said a lot of facts there, bro. Particularly the Trossard and Jesus one, man. I'm all for substitutions, but when they're that predictable, come on, man. Elliot, you've sat there quietly, my bro. I want to hear from you now. You were confident going into Bayern. I actually was with Jez. I went for a 1-0 though, not 2-0. I thought we would shithouse a win and put in a defensive masterclass. The defense was there. I mean, the goal was a bit disappointing, but the defense was there for Bayern. Offensively, we were poor. And I think it comes down again to some of these players that just don't look quite right in our front line at the moment and in midfield. I thought our midfield got swallowed up. Jorginho and Rice again. Lema and Goretzka, too good for us on the night. Again, same as last week at the Emirates. Where are you standing at the moment with this Arteta situation with how he's managing this squad that is at the moment pretty much fully fit, bruv?
Well, it goes to show that he only trusts only a few players, even though there are more to be trusted this year, and he's running them into the ground. And I borrow from Jez in saying that this Saka scenario reminds me of a certain player that we all knew and loved that Arteta played with at one time, and his name was Jack Wilshere. Remember what happened to him?
Mm-hmm.
He crashed and burned, indeed, because he was played too much by our once great manager Arsene Wenger, and took on too many injuries. And all he has to show for it is his time v Barcelona when Arshavin took all the plaudits, and he was named the man of the match. And I don't want to see Saka end up where Wilshere ended up, which was a great career lost, unfortunately, because of simply because of overplay. And Arteta, I don't know what it is. He just has a certain amount of trust of certain players, and he will run them into the ground because of it. And we are seen to pay the price for it at the end of the year. And it's unnecessary. It's completely utterly unnecessary when it comes down to it, because Arteta should have been rotating his squad throughout the year to a point where we don't need to be put under stress like this. I mean, you saw Declan Rice on the pitch in a few of these matches, and he's dead on his feet because he's being played to loan as the single pivot. It's shameless what Arteta is doing. He's putting square pegs in round holes constantly, and he doesn't put his trust in the full squad, which should have been building throughout the year. I think Saka shouldn't have been playing way less minutes than he has. I think it's 8 players right now that have been playing over 3,000 minutes up till this point. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. A team like Man City aren't in the red like this. Even Liverpool aren't in the red like this, but we are, and it shows the naivete of the matter and the mistrust of the manager. And we have to, and we have to keep that in mind going forward, because again, who knows if we go back into the transfer market again this summer and the same thing happens again, where next year we're in the same position and he's depending on the same set of players. I've always said that I did say that Bayern, that Arsenal were going to beat Bayern, but I never realized he was going to. That was on Friday. I never knew he was going to keep burning out these players and lose the trust of a lot of them at this important segment of the year. And I understand that that trust is earned, and certain amount of players earned, but you can't keep playing the same 12, 13 players all the time, because as everybody said here, it's easy to game plan for them. It's very easy to game plan against Arteta these days, because he has a structure. He doesn't want to move away from it. Yeah, he can change tactics from time to time. I think Dubai was the last time he changed tactics, and it got us off to a run. But now it's not as if it stops other teams from game planning against us. Now they've caught up. They've realized what we do. They realize who we use, and it's easy to game plan against us. And we're paying the price. We're paying the brunt of things. So again, I am, I'm weary of Arteta going forward. I think he's done a lot for us, but when it comes down to crunch time against big teams, against big opponents, against big foes, where you need your squad, where you need to have your tactics in place, where you need to have your full team in use, he's not done it. He's not done it, and I think I hope it doesn't cost him a job, but it may just because he relies on too few a squad, and you can't do it at this high level of competition.
Listen, I think you spoke a lot of facts there. Albert, last thing on this before we go into the weekend, and of course 6 games which are very, very big for Arsenal. You sent this to me, which I think is absolutely key. And I know that's very small for people on the screen, so I appreciate that. I can't blow it up, unfortunately. But look at the amount of minutes here in the Premier League and the Champions League. Saliba and Gabriel, there's no centre-back cover. That means Rice. We have nobody else other than Declan Rice. Now, Thomas Partey's not helped things there. But still, we needed to keep Xhaka and add Declan Rice, not get rid of Xhaka and just bring one in, because we're still the same numbers in midfield now, as has been proven this season. Martin Ødegaard looks absolutely knackered, and the guy's still putting in unbelievable work rate, one that can actually hold his head high over this period of time, in my opinion. Bukayo Saka, we've spoken about. Ben White, we've actually got right back cover, but it's not being utilised because most of it's playing left back at the moment. David Raya, we've mentioned before with the debate with Raya and Ramsdale, which we won't go into. Kai Havertz, of course, has been playing in a number of positions, whether it's wide, up top, in midfield as the attacking number 8. Martinelli, we've mentioned, and then it goes down from there. Zinchenko and Jesus, which I want to touch on very quickly, Albert, because these two at the moment, I was told it was going to be an 8 or 9 out of 10 window when we signed them. Unfortunately, they don't get in our first team at the moment. And Man City didn't use them as first teamers. So for me, we're already, maybe it's a compliment to us, but already these guys are being questioned as to what their future is going to be like at Arsenal. And then the list goes down. But the worrying thing for me there, other than Waneri and Timber, who were injured, El Neni and Cedric, who aren't wanted, Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira and Emil Smith-Rowe, look at the number of minutes that they've played. And this was a signing, 35 million, that we could have got Cole Palmer with, we could have got Maddison with, we could have got Kudus with, and he hasn't played him. Reece Nelson's been kept for 100k. Smith-Rowe, good game against Luton, haven't seen the kid since. So I have to bring it up, Albert, and I thought it was a really good bit of stats that you told me, man. What's your thoughts on this one, bro? He's got to manage this better, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does, man. I kind of thought it wasn't great in terms of, from you look at it from the naked eye, in terms of the players that haven't been used. But when I saw the tweet from Sam Dean, I couldn't. I was like, you're shooting yourself in the foot, man. You're absolutely shooting yourself in the foot, because quite clearly, even when you mentioned about the summer window, I wasn't completely bowled over, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because most Arsenal fans said it at the time in terms of sort of bringing in Rice. You've got to bring in Rice and another. That didn't happen. And Arsenal do this a lot. Graham Souness banged on about this a lot when he was sort of on Sky 2 years ago now. That Arsenal always a couple of players short. They haven't really addressed it. They're almost kind of ready to go, but they're not really, because they've not done the work they need to do in sort of the transfer windows, and that still always kind of seems to be the case with Arsenal, really. In terms of Jesus and Zinchenko, quickly before you kind of move on. With Jesus, and this was an article I saw, I think it was it might have been the midway of last season. And he said, I can't remember I think it might have been the Guardian, I can't remember who the journalist was. It's talking about Jesus. He said he's never going to be your 20-goal a season man, but he's a right fit for Arsenal now at the moment. Now that article was a long time ago now, because football moves pretty quickly. But I think we've seen enough of him to know that he's not going to be that guy to get you the goals we need to be challenging at the higher echelons of the league. And to highlight that, I mentioned this at the time we played City away, and you have the pass from Ødegaard into Saka, and I said this very, very clearly on my channel. A top striker in that position gets in front of Akanji and puts Arsenal 1-0 up, or puts the team 1-0 up. That was a prime example. If you wanted a case as an Arsenal fan to say, do we need a striker? Absolutely, we do. And people might go, oh, yeah, but we scored loads and loads of goals in the league. I said, but even when we scored the 31 goals in 7 games, if you ask the question, do Arsenal need a striker? I wouldn't even hesitate to say, yes, we do. Yeah, it's too important of a position not to get the right profile in, or to get a striker in. But quickly about Zinchenko. All I'm going to say, Dan, and I've said it before, people can bring me stats or pie charts, or they can bring me hexagons or the rectangular shape, whatever you want to show me or bring me. For me, he doesn't offer up. I look at Trent, for example, quickly. People talk about his defensive frailties, right? but he gives you so much going forward. I don't think with Zinchenko, he gives us so much going forward that he gets into the team. I don't think he does. I think he slows the play down too much. He congests the central areas of the pitch. To me, he's not street smart enough to know when to drop in and when to drop out. And for me, that's it with him. He doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't have attributes. He's not technically gifted. That's a separate argument. But if you're talking about in terms of the transition and team and it being a bit quicker, one, he slows it down, and I don't think he offers us enough going forward to justify him being in the team.
Listen, Zinchenko is a great one because, you know, Zinchenko was brought in and was pivotal to us going forward defensively. I'm kind of had enough of him now, watching him defensively. I actually get quite annoyed watching him. It's quite cringeworthy, if I'm honest, watching him try to defend. Jesus, I like him as a footballer, but every single Man City fan that I spoke to when we signed him said, he ain't good number 9 though, mate. That's why we're getting rid of him. He'll be good on the wing for you though. And LB said to me many times, why don't you just play him and Saka on the right and rotate him and go and buy a striker? And I think that is what we might need to do in the summer. But Jez, let's move to this weekend's game because it is a big game against Wolves. I know a lot of people are giving up and thinking like the title might be over, and I believe it probably will be. However, we have to go and win 6 out of 6 if we want to win this title, in my opinion. It starts tomorrow night. What would you do against Wolves tomorrow in terms of rotation? Because I think some of these players look a little bit dead, if I'm honest with you, mate. And Wolves are totally depleted from what I'm hearing. They've got a lot of injury problems. So what would you like to see team-wise tomorrow night, bruv?
Well, look, to be honest, I think I'd take Rice off, put him on the bench, bring in Partey, because Rice, to me, the last 2 games, Villa, Bayern Munich, has not looked on the money for me, personally. I would either start, as you just said, why not start Jesus out on the right flank? Yeah, put Saka on the bench. He can come on if he needs, but I think it's time to mix it up now. And this is where I question whether Arteta will have the kahunas to do it, because we've seen it. It's the same week in, week out, and you know the substitutions that Elliot said. You know, it's so predictable. You can almost time it. I can almost get my watch and go, yeah, okay, it's 60 minutes and we're going to bring on Trossard. Mate, you know, if you're a top flight manager, you've got to do better than that. And, you know, am I questioning Arteta? Yes, I'm questioning his technical ability, because there's other players you could bring into the fray. You could bring in Smith Rowe, stick him out on the right, stick him on, or Reece Nelson. You know, he came on last season, and won us a couple of games. Bangers, bang. Thank you very much. Please, please, please don't start Nketiah, because that would be an absolute crap show. At the end of the day, you know, that guy is done with me. I'm sorry. I mean, I never wanted him anyway, but it's time to change it up, Mikhail. I'm sure you're probably watching this show, so please change it up. Change it up. You know, start maybe Jesus, right? Put Havertz back in the middle, because I think he does a job there. Take Rice off, put Partey in, Odegaard, yeah, and go with the defence. Go with Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White, because they work well together, in my opinion. I think we will win tomorrow, Dan. I do think. I think we will win. I'm going a positive 3-0. Your other question is, yes, we've got to win every game because we can't afford. My biggest worry of all of the games is Tottenham away. That's the one, because they are going to be big up for it. They're not going to want us being anywhere close to winning the title, right, at their ground. We've done it twice before, and they're not going to want to see it for a third time. I'm not overly bothered about Man United. I think they're pretty poor. Chelsea could be a stumbling block, but you're right. Every game is a cup final. We've had this now for the last 11 games. Well, 5 games ago, it was cup finals. Will we have to rely on Man City, I beg your pardon, slipping up? Yes. Liverpool, they're going to be up for it. They're out of Europe. Man City are out of Europe. We're out of Europe. So it's all three of us in the mix, all up for the fight. Tomorrow, I'm confident we'll get that win. I'm saying 3-0. But Mikel Arteta, please, you've got to change things up. I really don't want to see Saka start, but I'll be sure he will, because that's the stubbornness of this manager. And not a lot else I can say, mate. We're in it. We're in the race, but unfortunately, we threw it away a little bit last weekend, and it's all in Man City's hands. But we have to just go for it. And if Arteta does it, guys, I'll be the first person, right, sitting here, putting my hands up and say, "Well done, Mikel. You've proved me wrong." Because I notice, people call me out and say, "Oh, you just hate him." I don't hate him. I've never met the man. I don't know him, right? I just don't think he's the level for Arsenal Football Club. He's not experienced enough. He doesn't have the technical nous. And he's got rid of players that I don't think he should have got rid of. Because we haven't replaced them. And that is part is on the back foot. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, that's what probably will cost us again.
You know what's really interesting about the last bit you said there, Jez? You know when, like, you're with your missus and she goes into, let's just say, Lakeside, and she wants to buy a dress, and she picks up the first dress and goes, "Oh, I quite like that one, but I'm going to go around and look at 14 other dresses." And they'll always come back and they'll pick that dress that they picked up, and it was a waste of time. I kind of feel like we've done that with Emi Martinez in goal. I kind of feel like we've done that with Emi Martinez, because I've watched him since he's left, and I'm thinking, what did we actually get rid of him for? Because we kept him, we got rid of him for Leno, who we got rid of anyway. And since then, I think we signed 6 goalkeepers, and I'm still not sure that I think Raya is the right one. I'm still not sure I can sit there now and tell you that I think we have a world-class goalkeeper in David Raya. And that's my problem, is I think Emi Martinez is better than all of them that we've had.
He won the World Cup, didn't he? He won the World Cup.
Yeah, and I quite like the fact he's got a bit of shithousery about him. I know people get annoyed by him, but I would love that in my goalkeeper, because he annoys the hell out of everyone. So, honestly, like, I kind of look at Emi Martinez and I think, you wanted to get rid of him, cool. How are we going to upgrade on him? And I don't think we have. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the chat think that Ramsdale's better than Martinez or Raya's better than Martinez, but I don't see it personally. Elliot, do you?
I would say I would agree with you, quite simply. I never wanted Martinez to leave. I didn't want him to go. I think he's been the better keeper. He's a World Cup champion. And the thing about it is he's got that sort of Grobbelaar sort of, confidence. But you know what Grobbelaar was? He was a winner. He was a multiple winner. And you want those guys in your squad. So you'll take a little bit of arrogance for what he produces. And the thing about it is he does produce. I see him as being a mainstay in the side that's going to be in the Champions League next year in Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa got one up on us. And, I mean, it's not as if Raya is doing badly. I think he's a very systematic goalkeeper. I think he makes the saves. He does the service that allows for his team to thrive. However, is he there in key moments? Now, again, give him credit. He did get us into the quarterfinals of the Champions League with some of his saves. So let's all give Jack his jacket here. He was excellent in that shootout, in that penalty kick take, and quite simply, he was and he is to be commended. But I it's just that you see when you get a guy when you get a guy like Martinez, you have a presence, you have a sort of gravitas, you have a sort of main man in goal that that everybody can respect. Now I don't know about his distribution so much, but again, I think in terms of his shot stopping and in terms of his generalship of his area, I think he's second to none. And I think we missed a trick by losing him and by him being out of the squad and by Arteta not giving him enough trust, and because he thought that it'll be Ramsdale. But I think Ramsdale's been worse than Martinez. I mean, the jury's still out on Raya for the moment, but who can argue with the World Cup winner? Who can argue with him? And we have to, it's the one that got away to me. I really do think he is the one that literally, that we said goodbye to too soon.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go on, bro.
I think Raya is the right guy. I'll be real, and I'll explain for why. I think Raya really suits the way that we play, playing out the back, a goalkeeper that knows when to run out, knows, like, at times you see Raya when he runs out, he literally plays as a makeshift centre back. He literally plays as a centre back at times. So if
against Bayern Munich, he didn't.
If the ball, no, that's fine. Against Bayern Munich, he didn't. But most of the time, he's been the one that if a ball's come out over the top and the defenders are nowhere to be seen at times, he's the one who's going to come for it. And he's often timed those runs to perfection. I think the only one that happened was in Bayern Munich, where, to be honest, I think Gabriel had a bozo moment there, because if he's running at you like that, I guarantee you he's shouted at him and he's still gone and taken the ball. Instead, Gabriel should have moved out the way.
Do you think, like, looking at it, like, some good comments in here saying about Martinez and Allison and Edison level. I don't think that he is that level. Well, I know he's not that level. I just don't know that I can 100% trust him. And I don't know that he's going to be that guy that we go, do you know what? We won a title because of David Raya. Do you know what I mean? You look back at every single team that won the Premier League. It was David Seaman, it was Jens Lehmann, obviously with Man United, Van der Sar, Peter Schmeichel. And then you look at what Chelsea did with Cech, Manchester City have done with Edison, Allison with Liverpool. I don't know if is he that level of goalkeeper, do you think, bro?
I don't think yet, because it's his first season. Yeah. But I think he could go up levels. I think he could, from where he is right now, I think he can go up levels. He just needs to. It's his first year. He obviously had a shaky start. And listen, I'm gutted that we sold Emi Martinez, because I would love to have Emi Martinez. By the way, I would love to have him as my keeper right now. But for me, the start of the season, or when he first came in, it was a bit shaky because he started with a defense that he doesn't know. So he's got as a goalkeeper, especially playing out the back, you have to create that chemistry, that relationship with that back line. Because when you're playing out the back and when you're there and having to do what he does, which is run out the box quickly to try and get the ball away from your box, you have to make sure that those players know, okay, Raya's gonna come from behind and he's gonna kick that ball. If it goes over and I can't get there, I know that Raya's already running out to try and get that ball. I think he can reach a high level, but this is his first season for me. I need to give him like 2 more seasons, see what he does. But I think he could reach that level. I think he's very good from crosses coming in. I know that we conceded that one from Kimmich. But normally he's very good when crosses come in, and he's very good at grabbing crosses, which Ramsdale wasn't good at.
You're right about the system thing as well. You are right about the system thing. He suits the system better for what Arteta wants, 100%. Yeah, I can't deny that, and that is fair. But listen, Saad, just quickly, what would you do moving on tomorrow, team news, man? And how do you think this one's going to go, bruv?
Listen, I can't lie. This game right here is going to show whether we're going to bottle the title completely and we're going to go and capitulate, or whether we're going to say, you know what, no, we ain't giving this up. We ain't giving this up to these guys. Yeah, we messed up against Aston Villa. Let's put that aside. Let's move on now. And I feel like I definitely agree with Jez in regards to we need to play Jesus on the right wing. I know Saka is great and all, but bro, this guy needs a rest. And I think he got rested for one game. I forgot what game it was where he was on the bench and he left him on the bench or something, or he wasn't even in the squad. Was it Fulham?
Fulham.
So for that game, I can understand. You gave him one game off, but that's still not enough. That is still not enough. Like he needs a proper break, because this guy is playing constantly. So I need Jesus on that right wing. Jesus can do the job on that right wing. Yeah. Since he's come back from his knee injury, he has no pace. None at all. So utilize him on that right wing. The right wing player we already know is the technical player in our system. He is the technical player. The left player is obviously Martinelli, who's the explosive one, loads of pace. So leave Martinelli to do whatever he wants to do on the left wing, and let's have Jesus on that right wing. In the midfield, the thing is with Rice, it's so hard for me to say I want to drop Rice.
Yeah,
But
it's hard,
I do feel like he needs a rest, and I feel like Thomas Partey needs to play. I'm sorry, but it's disgusting the amount of games that this guy's missed. It's actually disgusting, and it gets me angry every time I
Same.
think about it, because stuff that I'm hearing from certain people that are close to the club about things about like he didn't want to push himself to play because he might get injured again. I'm like, bro, that's not what I want to hear from a player that is supposed to be an older player, an experienced head in that midfield, an experienced head in the club. That's not what I want to be hearing from you, that you don't want to push yourself. Bro, you should be wanting to die for that badge, broski. You're in a place where a lot of people would love to be. So Partey needs to play tomorrow. And as much as I don't want to drop Rice, I feel like he needs a rest because he's just been playing non-stop. Like he's got so many minutes under his belt already. And I feel like these 2 games, he's dropped levels, and he's been our most consistent player. 7, 8 out of 10. In regards to the defense, I think Tomiyasu needs to stay at that left back position. God forbid if I ever see Zinchenko ever touch the ball again, mate. I'll be real. No. God forbid, honestly, man. I think that guy was done from last year when he embarrassed us at Anfield and started crying on the subs bench. This guy is. I understand why City got rid of him. With all due respect, he's a B word. I'm not gonna swear because I know the monetization and that. I'm not trying to get rid of that for you, Broski. But he's a B word, bro. He's too emotional. And you can't be that emotional when you're in title races, when you're playing at the elite level and you lose a game, bro. You can't be that emotional. You can't be there crying on the subs bench. So this guy is done. Yeah. So my starting 11, sorry, would be Ryan goal. I'll go Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu in the back line. My midfield 3 is going to be Partey, Jorginho, and Erdegaard. I would love to put Emil Smith-Rowe next to Partey, but I don't know how it's going to work. And this is literally a make or break game, so I don't think we can afford to really take risks right now. Like Partey, he's already tried and tested, so we know he's going to be in that midfield. He's going to be working, but I can't take the risk with Emil Smith-Rowe, and I love him, bro. I love Emil Smith-Rowe, and I really want him to stay. But I think the manager's blowing smoke up our ass by saying that he means so much to me. We'll play him. It's not that hard. So I'm going to play Jorginho in the middle, and obviously the skipper Martin Odegaard. This guy has been amazing since Anfield away. Front line, I'm going to go Jesus on the right. I'm going to go Martinelli on the left. I'm going to go Havertz down the middle. I think that's the front line we need to go with. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. But listen, they're missing a lot of players. They're missing Cunha. They're missing Hwang Hee-chan, Ait Nouri. Ait Nouri is an important player for them.
Very good player.
That is a big miss for them. But yeah, listen, I think we can get it done. I'm hoping for them to come out there and just like really put it on from first minute till 90. I need you guys to be on job. No going in at half time, coming out and letting them have the ball and having them control of the game. Nah, we don't need none of that. I need you guys to be on job from minute 1 to minute 90. Simple as that. So yeah, listen, I really hope we can go out and win this, man, because we really need a win at this point in the season. We need something to just push us, to just give us that boost to say, now, you know what, we can win this, especially with them lot coming into the Emirates on Tuesday, I believe it is. We need it, because there's no way that they can come to the Emirates and get anything against us. No way in hell. And I don't want to go in there with no loss on our against Wolves or a draw, where their mentality is going to be like, oh, you know what, we've lost the league now. We've lost the league. I don't want that to happen. Not like last season, because if it does, we're in the same position. We haven't progressed. What have we done? Just got in the quarterfinals in the Champions League, and we're gonna finish it off how we did last season. So, yeah, listen, I know I babbled on for hella long,
mate, you're
but
talking facts, bro.
What about
I just
What about we could play him up on the right wing?
who's that?
£35 million, Fabio Vieira. Where's he
Oh,
gone?
no, I can't. The fact that we even attempted to play him on the right wing, the guy he's not a right winger. He's just not a right winger, bro. He needs to be played in the
I
midfield.
am joking with you. I am joking.
Yeah, no, I know, but that the fact that he plays him on the right wing is just like play him in the 8, play him as a 10 when you don't want to when you bring off Erdegaard, play him as the 10. If we're winning,
I don't actually rate him, Side. I've got to say, I think this guy is waiting to be good, and he's just not going to be. You know, when you like your eyes don't lie to you. I mean, there's a difference between being lightweight and weak, and the guy's both. He's lightweight and weak. Do you know what I mean? Messi was lightweight, but he was strong. Do you know what I'm saying? He
yeah,
could keep people off the ball. This guy just gets flicked over. When we starts playing them on the wide areas, I'm like, I don't get what we're trying to do. So I know Jez was mucking around, but that is for me a mad decision for Arteta again. Bringing him on the wing for me is mad. And this is what I'm saying: Nelson, Smith Rowe, and Nketiah. I want upgrades from these
Oh
guys
my
in the
God.
summer, man. I can't have these guys on the bench anymore. I'm with you on Smith Rowe, but I actually feel cruel if we keep him and just treat him the way we have. It's not
yeah,
fair. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But let me come, Sad. I know you've got to go, bruv, to your
yeah,
stream, man. So I'll let you shoot, man. And obviously, we'll redirect to you, man. So make
No,
sure you go
100%.
follow the football corner straight after this, man, because that's exactly where you're going to be heading. So big up to you, bro, for coming on, man. Take it
Nah,
easy, all right?
big up, Dan, man. Big up, lads. Listen, make sure to hit the like button. Big up to all the panelists, man. Make sure to go and shout them out on their channels and hit a like button here and there and a subscribe. Make sure to get that done, guys. I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace out,
Big
lads.
up,
Cheers,
man. We'll
mate.
speak to you next week, bro.
Cheers,
In a bit, man. In a bit. Albert, let me come to you because I'm interested to know your team. I'll tell you my team and I'll see where you differ with mine, right? I think Raya, we all know, is going to be in goal, and Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. I believe Tomiyasu should start this one again because I was quite impressed. Other than getting done by Sane pretty early on, I thought he was all right after that, to be fair to him. My midfield, Thomas Partey, if he doesn't play in this game, then this guy's clearly a decoration on the bench because he has to play football sometimes. If he's fit and he's been training for weeks, this guy has to play for me, right? 100%. I would actually go with Emil Smith-Rowe and Martin Odegaard in the 2 attacking 8s because I think with Wolves being depleted, they can go for it, right? And then what I would do is I would play Jesus wide right. I would have Trossard through the middle and Martinelli left. That's what I would do because Martinelli needs to keep playing because he needs to get back into this game. He's not quite the same as Saka. Saka definitely needs a rest. Rice definitely needs a rest for me as well. And then you can hopefully go all out and then maybe change it up a bit if you get a couple of goals. I'm hoping, I mean, I've gone for a 2-0 Arsenal win, but I'm hoping that we might be able to surprise if we go a little bit more attacking. If we don't, then it might be a bit harder, man. So that's my 11. A lot of people are saying that they would get similar to that, but maybe a few changes. So what would you do, my bro?
I would probably go with the team he came out with. I think the only change I'd probably make, I don't think Smith Rowe will come in personally. I think Rice probably might. I think Rice will probably play.
Okay.
And I actually think, not that I would start Tomiyasu, but I actually think he'll bring. I think he'll play Zinchenko. I honestly think he will. I think the fact he played him against Villa. I think he will come in. I think Arsenal fans might be horrified to hear that, but it wouldn't shock me. It generally wouldn't shock me. Yeah, I can't. It's hard, isn't it? Because you're at this stage of the season, and obviously it's still the hangover effect from the Villa game for me, man. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, being there watching that second half, that kicked us in the ghoulies, man. All the Arsenal fans of that game, man. Seriously. And Dan, you know what it is? They've got a listen. City have got their FA Cup semi-finals tomorrow. They don't. I don't think they play until 2 days after we play Chelsea. So I think
we can go 4 points clear, man.
Yeah. So they've got oh God, what's it? They've got Nottingham Forest on Sunday, and I think before that they've got it's gone out of my head now. The away game they're playing, Brighton away. Brighton away. Yeah. So I said this to a couple of guys I was speaking to. with Arsenal, sort of the last 3 years. You know, they've gone through missing out on Champions League and then missing out on the league title. And I wouldn't even necessarily aim this at Arteta so much. I'm looking at the players when I say this is how much hurt do you want to go through, man? You got your professional footballers. You're in a very important part of the stage of the season. I think for a lot of the top three sides, Dan, the only side that can manage it better in terms of maybe any type of fatigue is City. At this point, it's your will to win and it's your adrenaline as well. I want to get over the line. So these two games are massive, man. Obviously, Wolves tomorrow and Chelsea on Tuesday, which I'll be at the Chelsea game as well. And I think for me, what I want to see, what I didn't see in the second halves against Villa, and especially Bayern Munich, someone's got to step up. Two of them have got to step up. And I mean, the team has to step up as a whole, as a first 11, but you need your match winners, man. You need your mavericks. You need someone to come to the fore, man, because you don't want a repeat of obviously the capitulation last season and the 2 second half performances you've seen in the last 2 games. You can't repeat that for a hat trick, man. You're in a must-win game now. All the games are must-wins, but I knew Arsenal would drop points this season until the remainder of the games. I think all teams will, to be honest, but this is about Arsenal showing some sorry to say it, Dan, they've got to show some bollocks tomorrow, man.
No, you're right, bro. They really
100%.
have.
I generally think that people talk about quality of football. Listen, at this stage of the season, off the back of, because Arsenal on the floor, I looked at Mikel after that interview after the game on Wednesday, and I say that's probably the first time I've seen him. He looked like he was, not they didn't know what to say, Dan, but I get the disappointment, but that one hit you hard, man. Hit us hard. You can see it with him, man. I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm not saying we would have definitely gone and done something against Madrid if we got through, but it's just, you can see it, man. The boys probably disappointed in changing, which it would be. You know what I mean? It's a knockout stage of a Champions League, but yeah, I need to see something tomorrow, man. Seriously,
Facts.
2 big games, and you know the incentive to go 4 points and then put it back into City's laps. You know what I mean? So we need to see something tomorrow, man. 100%.
Facts, we do. Listen, before we come to Elliot and we get some predictions to close the show, I need to get you all to do me a favor. We've just hit over 100 likes, but there's over 300 people in here, man. So let's get that up to 200, please, people. All you got to do is hit the like button and then hit subscribe. We're getting so close, so close to our next target, which is 20K. Let's try and get to 18K tonight if we can, people. Make sure you smash a subscribe on this show. Make sure you click on the pinned comment for Surfshark VPN. If you haven't got a Surfshark VPN, please make sure that you do get it. If you don't know what Surfshark VPN is, then please listen to this. Yes, judges.
Hello, Dan. How you doing? You
What are you up to, bro?
I'm actually watching the football, mate. This Surfshark VPN is a lifesaver, mate. You can watch the football with a dodgy Wi-Fi, even at the Emirates when you've got a big crowd there and everything like that, watching the football. Unbelievable.
Easy to set up? Well, it must be if you've done it, mate.
Oh, very, very funny. Even abroad you can, like, you can watch all your favourite programmes. It's like being at home, mate.
And that's exactly what you guys can do too. Click the link in the description for Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN, make sure you sort yourselves out, people. All you got to do is click a link in the pinned comment or in the description and sort yourself Surfshark VPN out. Elliot, what would your team be, sir? And what is your score prediction for tomorrow night?
All right, let's get to it. Back 4 remains the same. We can't change things now, unfortunately, because Lord knows we don't have enough people we can trust in that back 4. Maybe a Kivior, but do we really trust him? Do we really trust Zinchenko? No. So we go with the same back 4 again. Hopefully they can pull us through these next 6 matches. In the midfield, that's where we can make some changes. Partey's got to come to the midfield. I'm sorry. This has gone way beyond the pale. You've been asking for Jorginho, and quite simply, he's into his 30s now, and they simply can't take the rough and tumble of football every 3 days. So I'd love to see a Thomas Partey in there, without question, without fail. The question of Rice: do we include him in this line or do we not? Oh my God. I would say for the moment, he needs a rest. He really does need a rest. So if you have to include a Smith Rowe, if you have to include a Fabio Vieira, do it, because as much as I love Rice in there, I'd love to see him go up against some bigger, tougher opposition like Chelsea. So a day like today would be a great day to get a rest for him, and also a day of rest for Odegaard. Yes, I'm going there. I am going there. It is time for Odegaard to get that bit of rest because he's run miles, and I would like to see Fabio Vieira and Emil Smith Rowe midfield. Yes, it's crazy, but at least we have Partey in there, and I don't think we'll be threatened in the midfield so much. Up front, Jesus on the right, absolutely give him some time out there. This is the time we got to rotate. If there's any time in the schedule, a gap in the schedule we need to rotate, it would be now and then Bournemouth later on in the schedule. I think this is the time we need to rotate. If things get rough, then yes, bring in the big guns, but later. So I think Jesus on the right, I would say through the middle, I would say Mr. Trossard, and on the left, I would still play Martinelli. I think Martinelli is still good to go right now. He's just come off injury, so he still has a little more miles in him. So those are the changes to be made, but definitely in the midfield and definitely up top. But in defense, there is no choice. We have to go with who we got.
Interesting, man. What are you saying then? Scoreline.
Scoreline. I would say I would go for 2-0. I'd go for a 2-0. I think we have it all to play for now. With 6 matches left, there are no other forks in the way right now in terms of Champions League, in terms of any sort of cup of competition. So I would still go for 2-0. I think that this team plays better when there is one competition, or when the fixture list isn't at its best. And I think we have enough to get us over the line, but we need to win all 6 games. Yes, we need to win all 6 matches. And now, even though there'll be double time in terms of matches going into May, but in May, I think we'll be a match a week, and the schedule will play for us rather than against us.
Interesting, man. Listen, I'm going 2-0 as well. I think Wolves being depleted definitely helps us. Nori is a massive miss. Cunha is a massive miss. And I think might have a couple of players that might only last for 45 minutes or so. Jez, let me come to you next, bro. What are you saying for your lineup and for your score prediction, my friend? I think you went for 3-0, did you say?
I did. I'm going 3-0. I'll tell you why I'm going 3-0. I think we're going to bounce back from bad result against Villa. And the way we went out against Bayern Munich was
whimper.
Poor. I think the team are going to come back for this. Anyway, I'm going Raya. I'm going Tomiyasu. I'm going Gabriel, Saliba, White, and then I'm going to go with Odegaard, and I'm going to go with Odegaard, right wing, Partey, and who am I going to go on the left wing? Who am I going to go left wing? I'd probably go. I might go Jorginho on that one. I think he's done all right recently. And then up front, I'm resting Saka. I'm bringing on Jesus right wing. I'm going Martinelli left. I'm putting Havertz in the middle.
Interesting, man. Very interesting. A lot of people are looking at rotating for this one, and I think you're absolutely right. I think we have to be. What do you say for your scoreline, Albert? Can't remember now.
I think you've come to the right time, Dad. I didn't give you one.
I didn't know who I have and haven't asked now. I'm lost. Go on, bro.
What? We've gone through this sort of. He's cut a lot of clean sheets, but I'm gonna go 3-1 Arsenal. We need to bounce back hard, man. Trust me.
Yeah, I'd love to see that, man. I really would. I want to see a convincing performance as well as the scoreline. Do you know, sometimes where you see a scoreline, you think, ooh, but actually I want to see a performance that we think, do you know what? They really wanted that. I want them to feel a hurt that we hurt. Do you know what I'm saying? I want fans and players to be feeling like absolute death when we don't win football matches, because that's how it should feel. It shouldn't be like, well, on to the next, what we do tomorrow. It shouldn't feel like that. You should feel like it absolutely agonising. That's what it should feel like when you go out of a Champions League, when you go out of a competition, when you go out of a trophy, when you blow away a title. That's how it should feel. You shouldn't be like, it's all about the journey for me. I'm just happy I'm here. I'm just saying, what a load of rubbish. Like, for me, you should hurt, yeah? And that's what players should hurt, managers should hurt, and we go again. And then I want to see a reaction. And you're right, Albert. Something like that would bounce back and go, do you know what? We convincingly beat a Wolves side that we should have beaten, but we made sure we did the job and we beat them.
Yeah,
if we get
you're
all
right,
this,
Dan, you're right. You want them to be pissed off, man. Like, you know what I mean?
100%.
This at this stage of that second half against Villa, I swear to God, man. I saw you after the game, Potsy. I stood in the I was by block 9 after the game. I stood there for about 10 minutes. I didn't talk to any fans. I didn't look on my phone. I just stood there. I just couldn't believe what I saw, man.
No, it was the worst, man.
And it can't be like that tomorrow, man. It can't be like that on Tuesday night. It can't. We can't afford that anymore.
We still have it all to play for, guys. We still have it all to play for, guys. How many teams have chucked it in? The season's over, including Wolves. They're safe. We should be blowing through these guys because there's something to play for. We have a skin in the game. And if we don't, then, you know, blame the club, but also blame Arteta. He knows that, you know, we're here for a reason. So let's play for it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Just say, this is a knife in my heart. I won't lie. Is when I see fans walking out in 86 minutes.
Oh, mate.
And you're the ones, and you're the fans that are telling me, right, that I'm toxic.
Thanks, Jez.
And
well said. Same as me. Well done.
You're telling me I'm toxic after I've been supporting this club since 1968. Get out of here, man. Seriously? You know, I've never left the game early in my life. That's a lie. I got thrown out of Wolves once for nothing. I did nothing wrong. I got thrown out. Right. It's true. It is true. It is true. Right. And the only time I ever left was 3 years ago when I was at Man United and I got the news that my mum had died. So I had to leave. Right. Fact of the matter. But don't sit there, people, on your various platforms telling me I'm toxic because I call you out. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a problem, right, with walking out, yeah, and you're the big mass of people that want to sit there and sing that song, fair play to you. Okay, it's not for me, but support the club. You tell me, support the club, Jez. Don't be negative. Well, you're negative walking out when you're losing Aston Villa beating us, right? By the time you lot, right, come to the end of the game, I could see the cannon, I could see everything, right? I'm talking to Kenny Ken, right? And the place is dead. Yeah. So, you know, show some respect to the club. If you've got a problem with it, what you should be doing, right, is staying there, yeah, like the Villa fans were, yeah, and giving those players abuse and saying, you're not good enough. You were not good enough today. And that's what makes me laugh is sometimes the Arsenal fan base, man, they sit on these platforms, right? Give it all the big large, yeah. Well, how about do your own YouTube channel and give your own opinion? Yeah, it's great sitting on Twitter and Instagram and all that. Do the real thing and be a man and show what you're really all about. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do. Yeah, and we put our faces out there and make ourselves exposed to you people who think, right, yeah, you're all big and clever, right? Stay to the end of the game, people. It's cost you a fortune for your season ticket. It's cost you a fortune to get there. You just spent a fortune on the concourse. Support the club, boys, because at the end of the day, that's what I do.
Facts, bruv. Absolute facts. I couldn't agree with it more, mate. Absolutely spot on. And I get the same as you, Jez. I get a lot of stick on here. It doesn't bother me, actually. But what I do get bothered by is the hypocritical people that say, well, the club, get behind him. Just get behind this manager. He's our manager. Get behind these players. 88th minute, we're 2-0 down. Oh, I'm off. Hang on a minute. Where are you going? You've been telling me to support the process and the manager and the club, and now you're leaving. Come on, man.
It's mad, man. Like, big up just for saying that. And it's like, even from my point of view, like as a content creator, like you guys or people that guests has come on, it's like, if you're gonna come in the chat and watch the live stream, right? I don't expect you to come in and agree with what the panel say, but it's like, you know, someone was stuff in the chat that I said about Zinchenko. I said, okay, what have you made of Zinchenko this season? I'm still waiting for the reply. I'm entitled to my opinion. I've sat there and watched the guy disintegrate after 60 minutes against Villa. That's not my fault. Like, tell me what you're seeing as an Arsenal fan. What he offers. Why should he be in the first 11? That's a plausible question to ask somebody that come into a live stream and watch a stream and question us as a panel about a particular subject or a player. What's the alternative? What do you think? Like just said, if you've got so much to say, start your channel, get guests on, have it out. Football debate. I don't get it.
Facts, man. Listen, it's a good way. Go on, Elliot.
Just one more thing. I'm coming from a foreign land, as you may or may not know. And what? Just saying. Just. But what just says Wings so true? I pay very good money, double, if not triple, if not quadruple the price to sit in that stadium for what you three take for granted. And I know you three don't leave, and I don't believe that anybody in that stadium could leave because people from around the world would take their right arm off to have that one opportunity to sit in that stand and to look at their club. So you all you supporters who leave early need to have a look at yourselves and the enviable position that you guys are in to have the opportunity to watch this club that is world renowned, watch them every single week. It is absolutely disgusting for you to just get up and walk out. I mean, it's your right, but at the end of the day, your club needs you. And number two, the opposition side sees that and say, you know what? Let's get going, guys. We're getting these guys out the stands. That's what we sing about that every week, aren't we? We're the ones who clearing out stadiums, and then when they clear it out on us, then we're supposed to be the bad guys for calling you out. Are you kidding me? What? Come on, guys. Seriously. Your club needs you now more than ever. Yes, Arteta's made his mistakes. The players have made their mistakes. But at the end of the day, we're still in a race for number one. Please, for the love of Christ, support your club from now to the end of the season.
Facts.
Well said, man.
Well said, man. Well said.
Well said. Listen, that's a good way to leave it, man. Listen, make sure you do me a favor, people. Make sure you smash a like on this and make sure you subscribe. If you stay tuned, you're going to be redirected over to Sar's channel, Football Corner. So please don't go anywhere. Also, make sure you go follow Jez, please. Jez, shout your channel out, man. What you got coming
it's
up?
Arsenal, the history and more. Subs are going mental at the moment. I won't lie. Great stream I did last night with Lee, Kenny, and Matty. Nearly 9,000 views and that. That is massive for me. That is huge. And,
big up.
Nearly on my way to 6,000 subs now. So started 2 years ago and couldn't believe I thought I'd get 1,000, maybe if I'm lucky. But maybe I think maybe Dan, I do actually talk a little bit of sense. Maybe I do, fact is.
Believe it, and keep smashing it, mate.
Thanks for having me on as always, bro. Elliot, great to meet you. Albert, I've subscribed to you ages ago.
Long time, I think, yeah. Good to see him.
Yeah, long time ago, bro. Dan, thanks, man. Great show and it's a great panel and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on.
Nah, come on, man. You're always welcome. You know that. Elliot, likewise, bro. What you got coming up? How can people follow you?
Again, Elliot Rob 72. I'm here for the love and the hate, and the the site is coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're in development process right now, but again, I hope to be where Jez is now, and where Albert is now, and where Dan is, he's very much now. Jesus, he's on EastEnders for Christ's sake. Anyway, it's just.
Not quite EastEnders yet, bro.
I'll go and sub to you straight after this, don't you?
So it's Phil Mitchell there for a second. That's all right. Fair enough.
Now, big up, man. Come on, always welcome. You know it. Albert JTV, man. What you got coming up, my bro?
Dan, pleasure to have you up. Dan, listen, man. I have to speak to your mum and dad, man, and get you some blood pressure pills, man. Last few times I see you at games, man, I said this guy's on the edge, man.
Honestly,
this guy a hug, man. Trust me, man. But big up to you, Dan, man. Albert, come on your own channel, people, as you know. Watch along on my channel and Judge's channel for tomorrow. The Southeast London comes out at me when I do this with all I watch alongs, man. It just something just triggers inside me, man. But big up, subscribe to me, subscribe to the 12 Man podcast, people, man.
Love, man. Make sure you follow all these guys, please, people, and make sure you smash a like on your way out. Stay tuned. You're going over to Football Corner where they're going to be talking all things Arsenal. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Peace. We're out of here.
Take care.